everyone? I hope you're doing well, and I've just come back from my first YCS experience at YCS London. It was fantastic, but there is a couple of things that I wish I'd brought, and also I couldn't find a big list out there with everything that you need, so I thought I would do it for you. Now, if you don't know what a YCS is, it's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship series, where thousands of players will compete to get a first place prize, or get in the top cut for some rewards. Now, not only is it a great place to play some good games of Yu-Gi-Oh, it's also a brilliant place to find like-minded people who also enjoy the card game you do, and playing in side events on formats that your locals might not do, and even meeting your favorite YouTubers and then running away because you're nervous. But without further ado, let's get into the 10 things you'll need to bring to a YCS.
It's time to do.
First things first, bring your decks and your mat. So when I say decks, you don't really want to just have your main deck for the tournament unless that's all you're doing, because there will be side events for other formats like Edison, Speed Duel, any kind of Time Wizard format. There's always a side event going as long as there's demand for it. So make sure you bring everything that you might possibly need in terms of decks and your mat. It's very likely that vendors will be selling some mats, so if you really don't have one, you can definitely pick one up there. Now, the next thing might seem a bit silly, but it's a calculator. Now, whilst you may be able to do most of the maths in your head, if not all of it, it's sometimes nice to be able to double check the maths and make sure nothing's going wrong. The last thing you want is to get kind of near the end of a game and you realize you should have had more life points, which would keep you alive, or the other way around. On a similar note, you want to be bringing a pen and a pad. Now, this is a life point pad that I got at the YCS. Now, I think most vendors will usually offer one, or at least one vendor will sell some, but you can just bring a notepad. Now, the only thing you can use the notes for your life points, because note taking is prohibited in Yu-Gi-Oh! So you can't exactly just write down things about the game that aren't there for the sole purpose of clarifying the game state. For our seventh item, we have just smelly stuff like deodorant, aftershave, anything like that. There is a rule for hygiene. If you smell terrible, you can actually get a judge called on you, and you can actually get a game loss, so you can go sort out your hygiene. And not even just from the rules perspective, it's just respectful for everyone around you. You'd be surprised how many people did not care about this, and it was actually kind of unfortunate that the stereotype is true. So don't be one of those people. So this one's pretty broad. I've just put knowledge on there. And by this, I mean know what your cards do. As long as you know what your cards do, you can ask your opponent what they do. But if you're sitting there rereading your cards over and over again, trying to figure out what you're doing with them, you're probably going to get called up for slow play, and you might potentially get a game loss, and you just want to be avoiding that. You want to get some good practice in before the day, try and work out those interactions that might come up. This is actually especially important because if you know your cards and you know exactly what they do in the interactions, you can make sure everything goes as it should. Now, I had a situation at this YCS where I was playing Chain Burn in Edison regarding activated two accumulated fortune in the same chain. If you check out my Chain Burn video, I explain why this is the case and why you can activate two in the same chain. But because I knew that interaction, I fought with the judge. Well, fought. We had a discussion over the ruling, and in the end, it turned out that I was correct. Now, if I didn't know that ruling, I just wouldn't have been able to activate it, as the judge would have ruled otherwise. So it's very good to know your cards. So another thing you might want to bring is cash. No, not that cash. See, I was going to show some off, but I literally spent it all at the YCS, so I've got nothing. The reason you want to bring cash is because not every vendor there accepts kind of credit cards or debit cards. Some only accept cash, so it's good to have a mix of cash and card just in case you see a card you like that is at a place that only accepts cash. Another thing you'll want to bring is spare sleeves. So kind of when you're sleeving your deck, you will want to buy some additional copies of those sleeves, because if you have a damaged sleeve on one of your cards, you can get called out for cheating. Now, it seems a bit silly, but if you think about it this way, say you really want to draw a specific card in your deck as much as possible, so you dent the corner of the sleeve. Now, What that means is every time you shuffle, every time you draw, you can see if it's the card you want. That's such an advantage, and the issue is if you have even a single damaged sleeve, the opponent can think you're doing this, even if it's unintentional. So you always want to be carrying spare sleeves to replace those ones that get damaged. So the next couple of items kind of blend together. You want to bring some snacks, not like just sweeties. Don't bring some Skittles with you and call it a day. I would say bring kind of some protein bars, maybe a sandwich. Just bring something that will fill you up, keep you going, because it's going to be a long day of Yu-Gi-Oh, and it really drains you. And on a similar note, please bring water or any kind of drink because you're going to be talking a lot, you're going to be explaining your cards, you're going to be asking what to do, you're going to be declaring what your cards do, you're going to be talking to vendors, you're just going to keep talking. And you can probably hear in my voice if you've watched any of my other videos that I'm losing my voice a little bit because I didn't do this. I kind of bought some coffee on the day and called it there. Save your voice, bring some water. Now, the most important thing on this list is why I've left it till last is bring a good attitude. Overall, the most important thing to bring is a good attitude because everyone's there to just enjoy the game and have some great games of Yu-Gi-Oh at the top level. Please don't arrive with the intention of winning and then get upset when you lose and take it out on your opponent. It's fine to get upset when you lose, but don't have a go at your opponent and kind of don't cheat, don't have any unsportsmanlike behaviors. We're all there to have a good time, so there is no need to kind of ruin someone else's experience. So that's it for the essentials. Now, of course, there is one last recommendation. If you can, go with friends. It makes the experience so much more fun. It turns it from kind of a scary, unknown, and anxiety inducing situation into a good weekend with your friends. Now, if you don't have this, that's fine. On the first day, I went alone and I knew a couple of people there, but I kind of braved it. And it is possible, so don't be discouraged if you are alone. Please do go because you might meet some friends there. Thank you for watching. I know this was quite a quick video, but I knew I had to get one out, and also I couldn't find much on this topic, so I thought I would go ahead and sum up the list of things you need. And if you're watching this before a tournament, best of luck to you, and I hope you get all the wins you want. If you think I've missed anything off this list that is essential for a Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship, please do let me know in the comments because I'd love to have a complete list of everything. I think I've included everything, but there's always something that slips through the cracks. Anyways, that's all from me, so as always, happy dueling.
You were dealt a bad hand.